The next presenter I want to bring up, you have met her before. She was on the panel. You did some work with her in one of the early mornings. Good job. And she's a guru at this. She's very well known all around the country. She's been in Shape magazine, and she's actually, I believe, coming up in People magazine. Yes? She's in People magazine. Good or good? And she's been selected as one of the top 6 fitness trainers of the year prior to this. Good or good? She's also been involved in television and Los Angeles KTLA on CBS, NBC, Fox, and all those great places. And I think you already got a good sense of who she is. She really, really knows her stuff. And she's going to talk to you a little bit more today about some exercise elements that can work for you. Say, that works for me. Yeah, that works for you specifically. And in addition to that, how to make certain you maintain and create a healthy back. Good or good? Yeah. So both. Hey, would you help me welcome in a moment? We're gonna you know what I'm gonna do? She's got a little video here we're gonna play first, and then we're gonna welcome her on personally. Okay? So go ahead and light up the video, and let's see that.
Named the best of the best personal trainer in Los Angeles for 2007 by international luxury magazine Elite Traveler, JJ Flizanes is changing the way we think about fitness. Shape magazine featured the fitness guru in 2003, and she's appeared on NBC, KTLA, Fox, and CBS. JJ Flizanes, director of Invisible Fitness and the premier exercise architect, designs a detailed program just for you. When it comes to your blueprint, one size does not fit all. Let JJ Flizanes and Invisible Fitness build your perfect body. Now.
Let's get started.
Hey, give it up. Let's hear it, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, guys, have a seat. I want to get started. We got so much to cover. How many of you want to change your body and your health? Raise your hands. How many have you tried in the past, but it didn't last? Would you like to know why? Okay, we're going to talk about that today. If I could have the handouts being passed out. Oh, they're already out. Okay, turn them over, please. We need some handouts in the front. And handouts over here. Okay, so if the staff can handle that, would be awesome. So, we're going to talk about you today. And I'm going to help you figure out where you are and where you want to be, and then how to get there. Does that sound good or good? Good. Awesome. Thank you. Would you like to know a little bit about who I am and where I've come from and what I know? Would that be okay? Okay, great. Well, as Harv mentioned, the client I'm going to bring up on stage later, Adam, who had some serious back injuries, we just got called from People magazine. We're going to be doing a story in People magazine. Now, that's really recent. That's really new. And if you want to know when it's out, if you want to go to invisiblefitness.com and sign up for my free newsletter, that will give you lots of information on health and fitness, and I can let you know when that's going to come out so you can see it. So I'm going to start with the end. In 2007, I was named the best personal trainer in Los Angeles from Elite Traveler magazine. Thank you. Now, how many of you have seen this magazine before? Raise your hands. Really? Oh, wow. Okay. Excellent. For those of you that haven't, this magazine actually appears on private jets and in luxury spas and in luxury hotels all around the world. So that's why you can't buy it on the newsstands. And they featured 10 different cities: Milan, Hong Kong, Sydney, Chicago, Miami, New York, LA, and a couple others, Paris, France, London. And so they had called and they said, we want to put you in our magazine. And so just like any of the magazines that I've spoken for before, I said, okay, great, sure. And I gave them the contact information and I thought nothing of it. because they said, we want to list you in our global black book, Best of the Best. So I'm hearing, it's like a phone book. They just want to list me so that when people come and they're traveling and they want to find a good personal trainer, that they'll call me. And then the magazine arrived. And I looked in it, and there's only me. And a runner-up, we're not going to mention him, but there was only me. It was like listed best. And I screamed because I had asked for like many magazines, and I thought, okay, they didn't say that we chose you. So it was really exciting. So I thank you in sharing that celebration with me, because as I'm sure you also agree, celebration is the key to happiness, yes? So, excellent. Thank you. Now, it's been a long time to get there. I've been doing this for over 10 years. And I didn't start out, I'm not a doctor, and I didn't start out in a medical profession. I started out as a musical theater major. So in attempt, because my brain is 50-50, I have a creative side. I need to move my body, I need to feel like I'm doing something creative, but I also have the intellectual side. And what I realized about myself was that my brain got bored, and I needed to problem solve. I needed to figure things out. And so in an attempt to use my brain, I wanted to make sure that whatever jobs I picked on the side were not going to be things like waiting tables. Now, I'd been dancing since I was 3. Since how long? So I've been exercising my entire life. It's been a part of my lifestyle. But I've always been concerned and interested in how it affects my body. In dancing, there's a lot of stretching that happens, right? And we're going to talk very briefly, my disclaimer too, we're talking very briefly about stretching today. And I apologize about that, because stretching is such a huge topic, and it won't serve us to even go there. I'm going to make some mentions. If you want to talk to me later, email me, call me, see me in the back. I'll be more than happy to spend countless hours with you. Well, maybe not countless hours, but okay, I'll write a next newsletter about it. So I recognized that certain things didn't feel right for me. I was like, something intuitively said to me, this doesn't feel right, but yet everyone else is doing it. How many of you experienced that? It's just something that doesn't feel right. You can't explain it. All right, so hold that, because later on then I found out why it didn't work for me. So being a dancer, I'm very interested in my health. I get a job at the gym. I say, how do I get to be one of those trainers? And so the training manager, if you will, gave me a phone number, and he said, here, go call these people and take this test. Okay, so I take the I'm now a certified personal trainer. I'm certified, right? And I walk into the gym, and I see all this equipment. I don't know what to do with any of it. Is there a problem with that? Is that scary? You should be very concerned, okay? Because to become a personal trainer, it only takes a weekend course, an online certification that you don't ever have to step in front of a gym, and you may not be getting the best or complete science. And that's the truth, because that's where I came from, because that's all I knew. I said, take this test. I took the test. I walk in. I go, well, the test didn't tell me about those things. Well, what? I don't understand. So I looked around and thought, well, how do I figure this out? Well, I guess I just follow everybody else. Now, be honest. How many of you have learned to exercise by following someone else? Okay, so I'm doing what you do. I'm going, well, maybe that guy knows what he's doing. And so I'm starting to pull on machines. And finally, thank God for Martin. I can't wait to meet up with him again in this lifetime. One of the trainers, who was actually studying to be a physical therapist, pulled me aside, and he'd seen me work with some clients, and he said, JJ, come here. That woman on that machine, did you ask her about what you were doing was appropriate for her hips? I'm caught. Oh, my God. Okay, no. Well, I was just doing what we do in dance, and I was putting weight to it. And he's like, okay, well, maybe that was appropriate, maybe it wasn't, but you need to ask. I thought, oh, okay, great. Whew. But come here, I want to test you on this machine. Oh, my God. Okay, sit on this machine and explain what's happening and how it works. Now, before I even sat down, I knew that I could guess, and I did guess right. But the fact that I guessed and I didn't know from every single moment what was going on, that bothered me, obviously, because I'm the professional. I should know what's going on, yes? So I said, Martin, where do I get this information? And he handed me another, here, take this test. So I called and I started with the National Academy of Sports Medicine, where they opened my eyes to science. I'd never been good at science in high school. Not that I wasn't good at it, I made A's and B's, but I never loved it. It didn't make sense to me. It was all out here. I wanted to see it. And all of a sudden, now I'm learning about science of the body, and it applies to my body and my joints, and I can see how things work. Wow, I'm good at this. I'm smart. This makes sense to me. So what I'm going to come from today from you is science. That was the beginning of opening my eyes to that there's a reason for things. And if you're doing things without a reason, that's a big red flag to stop and go, well, why do I believe this? Who told me this? Do I really understand anything else about this? So would that be okay today if we come from science? Good. So later on, then I actually moved into the role of Director of Education for New York Sports Club. So I was training trainers. I was training trainers for a couple years, so I kind of know what's out there. And again, it's a lot of science. You don't learn science in a weekend. I know this much of this much. There's always more to learn. And like all the doctors set up here, the more you're educated, the more you realize you don't know, right? A true educated person is never going to say, one way is the only way, or I absolutely know this, because that's not true, because it depends on interpretation of science, interpretation of what you're learning. So here I am today, ready to help you. So now we have your handouts. Why are you here? What do you want? What are your goals? How many of you have been told to just exercise? Raise your hands. Just exercise, no other recommendations, nothing specific. By a doctor, medical professional, or a friend. All right, so we're going to talk about what to do. Is everything appropriate for everyone? I'm sorry. Is everything appropriate from everyone? No. Thank you. Okay. Start, number 1, have a clear vision. Number 2, make a plan. Number 3, have tools and support. If I told you to get in your car right now, provided that you don't have a GPS, and told you to go to Tucson, Arizona, how many of you would get there very quickly? Because you live there, yes? Okay, for those of you that don't live there, okay, let's pick Idaho. I'm going to tell you to go to the capital of Idaho. Right, okay, so thank you. Boise, yes. Do you understand what the correlation I'm trying to make? I'm here, and I want to be here. Without a map, I'm going to try, and not that you probably would get there. You could probably stop and ask people, how do I get there? And you go on this road and this road. But wouldn't it be really nice to just have that map of how to get there? Because it's specific and direct. All right, so we need to make a plan. Let's start with the clear vision. I'm going to ask you now to take out your pen and the handout and fill out the sheets that I've given you as to where you are now. And then you're going to fill out the first page, and you're actually going to fill out the second page, which is the goal setting. I want to know where you want to be. So you're going to set 3 goals for your body and 3 goals for your health. And be specific. And look up at me when you're done, so I know that you're done. I'm only going to give you another couple seconds. I know it's a rush, but I know you can do it. You've been formulating your goals this entire week. They should be easy. Anyone not have a handout? Okay, so let's finish up. This is where you are now, and then what your goals are for your body specifically, and for your health specifically. Okay, and finishing up. Why do some people not get to their goal? They don't have a plan. they don't have the motivation, they don't know what they want. They don't know what they want. If I say I want better fitness, what does that mean? Right? Depending on who you are and what it is that you want, I've had clients who all they want to do is be able to play with their grandchildren. That's fitness to them. Someone else may want to run a marathon. That's fitness to them. Someone may just want to know that they are lean and strong and can basically have energy throughout the day, and that's fitness to them. So quickly look back at your goals and make sure they're specific. Because if it's just, I want better fitness, the reason you're not getting there is because you're not being specific enough. How many of you have seen The Secret? Raise your hands. I love it. Thank you. You gotta be clear. Okay, so pick a partner. I want you to turn to your partner, and I want you to share your 3 goals. Out loud. Put it out into the universe what it is that you want for your body and what it is you want for your health. Anyone not have a... You can do 3s. Okay, and make sure you're switching. Okay, and finishing up. If I can have you guys back up here with me. Okay, and so you're going to finish up. Let me ask you, how many of you think that your partner could become more specific? Raise their hands. Okay. So make sure that you let them know that, right? Because this might be one of the obstacles in the way, is that they don't realize that they're not being specific enough. Okay. So who thinks they're fit? Raise their hand. Who thinks they're fit? Okay. We're gonna rate you. We're gonna rate you right now. What I'd like you to do on a scale of 1 to 10 at the top of your page, it doesn't matter which sheet you use, but the top right-hand corner of a page, I would like you to write down on a scale of 1 to 10 how fit you think you are right now. Now, for those of you that were in my class on Friday, may I see who was here on Friday? You guys rock. You're awesome. If you recognized in that workout, because I've had many of you come back to the table and tell me, I thought I was fit. I go to the gym all the time, but you kicked my butt. If that's the case, then you may already know and have that little bit of awareness. So go ahead and put down what you think you were before Friday morning. Yes? And then for anyone who didn't take the class, how fit you think you are right now? Give me a number. Scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the most fit, 1 being the least fit. Okay, so we're going to discuss it later. Everyone have their number? Okay, if you don't have your number right now, as we talk about what fitness is, you can go ahead and just keep finding in your mind what you think that number is. You don't have to share it with anyone. No one's going to look at it. It's just for you, right? And it's going to change. So don't get too stuck on the numbers. You're not a number. Say that. You're not a number. I'm not a number. And that means the scale That means your body fat percentage. That means how much weight you can lift. You are not a number. Say, I'm not a number. But numbers give us information. I don't want you to make that information more important than it is, yes? Our only attachment to it is the attachment you give it. You are not a number. I am not a number. Okay? I know some people that get on the scale all the time. We tell our people in the 90-day health and body makeover, we want you on the scale the first day and the last day, and that's it. Why? Just to compare numbers. It's a bit of information. But it absolutely is not, by any means, who you are or what you are. It is a bit of information among many bits of information that make up who you are. So, what's fitness? If you were to look at someone, could you tell they were fit? Thank you. So would fitness be visible or invisible? I love you guys. So what are the components of fitness? Strength. Okay. So, strength, stamina, flexibility. Well, energy can kind of go under stamina. Balance and agility. Okay, balance. Okay, I'm going to put up one that you guys may not know. Smile. Joint integrity. How many of you know what joint integrity means? What do we know about aging? We deteriorate, correct? Now, we all know that there are ways, this is a fact. I did not make this up, right? This is a fact. Our joints deteriorate, our hormones lessen, our metabolism slows down. This is part of aging. Because we have this information, we can fight against it and do things to stabilize and reverse it, yes? That's the great thing about knowing this information. This isn't supposed to be a downer. This is just life. You hit the bell curve, you go down. You're given one set of these. This is actually why I started Invisible Fitness. Because it was the things you can't see that are more important than the things you can. A lot of people out there are looking at people on the outside to judge whether or not they're fit or not. What about the inside? I can build muscle and not wreck my joints. I can also take forces and apply them to my body that deteriorate and degenerate me faster. So if I know this, wouldn't I maybe make some different choices on how to apply force to my body to save it so that way I don't have pain sooner? I see a lot of exercise plans, programs, modalities that don't prepare you for the forces you're about to apply. So what is exercise? An exercise is a movement with force applied to it. In the case of standing up, it's gravity, right? We all know gravity. It falls, right? So this is what we have to work with. So here's your center of gravity. It's this line. If I'm doing exercises with a free weight or anything that's weight-based, gravity-based, then I better know how to resist the muscle I want to work. Okay, so I'm going to teach you a little bit about your knee joint. Would that be okay? Yeah. How many of you have knee problems? Raise your hands. Okay. This applies to the back as well, not the exact forces I'm going to talk about, even though all these forces do apply everywhere. So no, we're going to talk about the knee, and we're going to talk about the back. All right, anyone know what this bone is? Yep, it's this right here, just thigh bone. And this bone? Great. Patella. It's not attached. That's a shocker for some people. It's not attached, okay? So this is a hinge joint. There's cartilage in between here. Used to be, for some of you. There used to be cartilage, right. Well, for those of you that still have it, I want to preserve it. For those of you that don't have it, I want to strengthen your muscles so that way your bones don't get the force. If I did a squat in this direction, and here we go, black on black again. Okay, I'm going to do it in front of this white. Can you see me? Okay. Can you see my knees? Should I jump on the table again? It's still going to be black on black? But you'll see me. Better? Okay. All right, so Thank you. But I need to show you this side view. Okay, great. Thank you, camera guys. All right, so if I did a squat, and a squat can be done in a million, how many? Different ways. If I did this, where does the force go? Okay, so let me back up. So we're talking about forces. Compression. We live in gravity. There is compression. It's not bad. I hear so many people say, I have compression. We all have compression. It's okay. All right? There's ways to help and deal with that about the effects of compression, but we live in gravity. The reverse of that, pulling two bones apart, is called distraction. Okay, that's pulling two bones apart. So if you're upside down, sometimes you can distract when massage therapists pull on your body. That's distracting. The bouncing is doing some distracting, yes? Rotation. Now this is a hinge joint. It's your knee. It shouldn't rotate, right? This should not rotate. There are ligaments to protect rotation. We do not want them to rotate. Then we have shear, or translation. This is what this is. You see the bones, how they're doing, one's rubbing against the other? There's cartilage in between here. The more I do this with the greater amount of force, the faster I wear down my knee. Yes? Make sense? Okay. So if I do a squat that looks like this, where's my force? Mostly in my knees. If I do a squat that looks like this, where's my force? Did you see the difference? One went like this, and one went like this. I didn't shove the bone and rub it into the one on the bottom. So here's choice one. And the further I go down, the more force here, yes? Or if I sit back, do you see how I'm hinging off the back of my knee? Okay, and I'm lessening that translatory shearing force on my knee. Therefore, I am going to have more cartilage longer. So that's joint integrity. And I'm only going to use the knee because it's the best example I can show you and I can actually demonstrate very easily. So joint integrity, I'm very passionate about it because I want you to have what you were given and keep it as long as you can. When it goes away, we can strengthen your muscles so they can absorb the forces applied to your body so that you don't wreck the joints even further. But there is a solution if you have lost some cartilage. So now we're going to rate yourself. We're going to see how fit you really are. Everyone put your papers down. We're going to take your pulse. We're going to take your two fingers, slide them down your thumb into the groove and indentation. I'd like you to be testing your left hand because it's closer to your heart. These two fingers, the thumb has a pulse. You're taking the first two fingers, sliding it down the thumb. There should be a little indentation in the bones. Press down. If you can't feel anything, press harder. Everyone have a pulse? If you don't, ask the person next to you to help you because I can't come out. Don't use the thumb. Use these two fingers. Yeah. If you can't find it in here and you want to find it in your neck, that's fine too, if that's easier for you. But I really prefer you do the wrist. What I'm going to do is I'm going to time you. When you feel the first beat of blood, I want you to count to 0. Then you're going to keep counting until I say stop. Don't shout out your number. Is everybody ready? No. Since you're in the front, I can help you. Can I take your hand? Okay, Hill. Well, try the other side. Did you? Okay. He's alive. Okay, great. All right, everyone ready? Okay, when I say go, the first beat is 0. When I say stop, hold on to your number. Go. Stop. Write down the number, and then add a 0. How many of you fell between 50 and 60? Raise your hands. Excellent. You guys are in